Welcome back to the Manny Diaz Show. Joe Zagacki, Don Bailey Jr., and Josh Darrow, Miami and Georgia Tech. Saturday at 12:30 at Hard Rock Stadium. Jeff Collins brings his team in. He had a big rebuilding deal at Georgia Tech, going from that Paul Johnson option offense to what they're doing now. Pretty good combination in the backfield. But Jeff Collins, he's battling hard. He's lost a couple of tough games, 2 in a row coming into this one.
One thing for sure, they'll battle you. We've learned that about Georgia Tech forever, whether it was with Paul Johnson or how it is now. But what I'm impressed with them is how quickly they've really kind of changed their offense, and it has to do with their quarterback Sims. They were fortunate to pick him up 2 years ago. They get their redo. He's still a freshman again, but he's far more experienced. But those guys were the 3 yards in a cloud of dust, the option. I mean, you couldn't have been any more caveman football, and now they're completely the opposite. So they've done a good job adapting, and then that defense has changed a little bit as well, Josh.
Yeah, Sims this year has really kind of given him a nice uplift. You know, he can run and pass. I mean, against North Carolina, he goes for over 100 yards. I think he's got another game over 100 yards. They got a couple good running backs. They've got some talent at wide receiver. All you know is they beat North Carolina and they hung tough with Clemson. I know it's been a little bit shaky for them since then, but just put that film on and you know what they're capable of. So, and they're a team, as you said, Joe, they've beaten us twice in a row. So they want to come down, they want to snap a losing streak, they have a lot of pride at stake, but they've got good players. They've got one kid in the backfield that's electric.
Yeah. They hoodwinked Miami 2 years ago with the fake punt. They come into this game, though. Miami's offense is rolling. Georgia Tech is 103rd in defense, giving up 427 yards a game, and they're really struggling on third downs this year. But I think the strength of their defense there would be their edge rushers. And the Tariq Carpenter, he did a good job against Miami a couple of years ago, especially against Brevin Jordan. So you know they'll have something with Carpenter on the Miami tight ends.
They will. Their linebacker is probably one of the best player on their defense. But the thing we have to remember, now we've had a little bit of a struggle here this season, is when an opponent plays Miami, it's their biggest game of the year. You're going to get the best version of Georgia Tech that you've seen all season, except for maybe against Clemson. I mean, they showed up pretty darn good against them, but I think you're going to get, Jeff Collins knows that if he's going to continue to work at recruiting in Dade County, that he needs to beat the University of Miami. It'll help him in Dade and help him in Broward, and he's taking that program national recruiting-wise. So he's looking for a victory, and what he's selling his team is, guys, we've done it the last 2 times.
Yeah, absolutely. I like their linebackers. I feel like they put a lot on them to come fill holes and make tackles. They'll send some pressure. But when you look at maybe where they're weak, then I dialed up the stats on Armstrong and Pickett from Virginia and Pitt, and they both went for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. And we got our guy with the right arm, the hot set of dice, as Josie likes to say, Mr. Van Dyke. So if they can keep pushing we clearly see Rhett Lashley has not holding anything back.
Nothing.
He's being ultra super aggressive. He's putting the ball in his quarterback's hands and letting him throw the ball down the field. And if that's where they feel the advantage is, then there's no question in my mind that's what they're going to let him do.
Yeah, their 2 linebackers are number 1 and 2 in the ACC in tackling. Miami's defense, Gibbs and Sims, in particular, Jahmyr Gibbs, he's an electric running back. Miami's got to find a way to continue their improved tackling.
I think that's important, and just it's contagious now. I think that you saw great tackles in the open field against Pitt, the best day tackling Miami has had this season, and I expect it to be even better next week and the following week. They are working on it diligently every single day at practice. They're going live at it, and it's starting to pay off. The drills are paying off, the confidence is building up, and even the younger guys are realizing this is how you tackle in college and have success with it.
You guys remember the Cam Kitchens when he kind of pile drove? But there was a great form tackle, and that's what you want. You want that. I remember talking to Manny a few years ago with Jaquan Johnson. Like, he was the safety valve. He cleaned up. He always said he would clean up the mistakes, and he'd make sure there were no big plays would bust out of that. And so you have to have those 2 guys on the back end that can make tackles. We've talked about James Williams' ability the way he just plays a violent game, and Cam Kitchens is so smart. But again, Don alluded to it earlier. These are still younger players who are seeing a lot of this stuff for the first time. But I think Jeff Sims is a good matchup. He'll give the ball away, although he's also provided a spark for them. But against Virginia, Virginia didn't tackle well on the back end and gave up some big plays. So if Miami can get these guys on the ground, it should be a good day for the Hurricane defense.
This is a really, really big game for the University of Miami. We'll just do this quickly for a couple of reasons. One, they've won 2 in a row. They've done that a couple times the last couple of years, and then all of a sudden they lose their focus and can't sustain it. So one, they got to prove they can sustain it. 2, it's probably premature because Miami hasn't earned this yet about being in the Coastal race. But if they beat Georgia Tech, they put a lot of pressure on Virginia and Pittsburgh. Both those teams will be looking over their shoulder.
You know, I hope Miami keeps the attitude they had the last couple weeks. There's no reason for them to get overconfident. We're at 500. I mean,
No,
that's
exactly
the
right.
truth. We're
Right.
at 500. We've won 4, we've lost 4. You've got 4 games in front of you that can change this season and can ultimately, with a little help, as you always give us the great info on, Joe, we need a little help to get to where we want to go. But you're 500 today. So now you've got to win the next one and take care of it each week at a time. And we can look ahead now. You get through this one, we got a big one coming up against the Knowles in a couple weeks. But I say take care of business today and forget about what could be and what should be and what might be.
So you said I'm a podcaster. Coach Larinago, you had him on, and he has visions for how he runs his team. But one of the things he said from one of the books you read is you sort of start with the end in sight, right? Where do you want to be, and then kind of work your way backwards. And think what a great story the end can be, whether you win the Coastal or not. To bounce back from 2 and 4, if you can rip off 6 in a row, and obviously that starts with winning 1 at a time. But if you can have a taste of what the end will look like and feel like, because now that you've been in a winning locker room 2 weeks in a row,
It's fun.
I can tell you it is way better than the alternative. So keep stacking those chips and think about the stories that'll be written and what people will be saying if this whole thing gets turned around. Now, in order to do that, you have to continue to work hard. You have to understand where you have to get better. You have to understand where things have to get corrected. But keep applying the same mindset, the same determination, the same hunger, right? And then you will get to where to be. If you win the Coastal, great. But if you finish the way we all want this team to finish, that's a phenomenal deal.
Okay, we'll come back with the keys to the game. Miami and Georgia Tech, 12:30 kickoff. Keys to the game are coming up next.
With UHealth Virtual Clinics, you can see our experts in every specialty wherever you are.
University of Miami health system providers are available here for all your healthcare needs.
All you need is a phone or tablet to schedule a virtual visit with us.
See a UHealth provider virtually today or at a time that's convenient for you.
Visit umiamihealth.org/virtual clinics or call 305-243-4000.
Hey, it's the Good Greek Spiro, and we all know that the most important part of winning a championship is getting there. And when the Miami Hurricanes need to get their equipment to each game, they call Good Greek Moving and Storage. The Miami Hurricanes trust the Good Greek, and so should you. So move like a champ and go to goodgreek.com. Good Greek Moving and Storage, the official movers of the Miami Hurricanes.
Good Greek Moving and Storage, your superhero movers.